dolls for that boy or girl that you like. Voodoo dolls for that boy or girl that you like. Is one thing that we could conceptually manufacture. Is one thing that we're talking about, sort of trying to do conceptually in terms of making things with our marketer. We have a marketer that we're trying to hire necessarily to just try to be able to push more things in the e-commerce space. Hey, how are you doing? Welcome to the news, by the way. It's Dinky Tech, yeah. Anyway, so that's just one thing. It's kind of a conceptual joke of a product. We're talking about manufacturing in terms of things that are interesting, like to be able to market is a certain aspect that we're trying to start with in terms of e-commerce, because we're trying to start with demand to be able to then move into the supply chain aspect of things. And the reason for bringing it up in this instance is because the marketer, which is just trying to penetrate the market to be able to make sales, ultimately is the focus is, after all of the, in terms of using an e-commerce space to begin with, is it after that, after focusing on trying to be able to make sales, that the product market fit is ultimately a good thing to be acknowledging. So we're also trying to focus on a marketer who's also able to conceptually connect with manufacturers, and also manufacturers make certain items themselves. And that's something that we're really trying to focus on in terms of trying to get product market fit, but also just like being able to manufacture products, being able to make things that are unique and such things, and sort of collaborating in the process of hiring someone in the meantime. So that's a full circle process, if you will. Another aspect too, which is something almost like which goes against the grain of exactly what I was just talking about doing, is in essence, you're not supposed to talk about things before you actually do them. That's just kind of a saying, but it's also worth doing. It's also worth noticing. It's also worth following through with. That it's ideal to not actually talk about things until you actually do them. In essence, it's super relevant to be able to say that to yourself 4 times so that one sinks in. It's super relevant. It's super helpful, because ultimately if you have things that are ambitions and you want to do them and you think that you'll actually do them and you talk to them about them or talk about them too soon, then ultimately you might not do it at all necessarily. So it's therefore very worthwhile to go ahead and actually just not talk about things until you actually do them, because it's a philosophical but also scientific element that has to do with science, that if you, in terms of God, seriously though, in terms of God science, spiritual science, that if you put things in his face, like there's something that you care about or think is like right around the corner that you're gonna like go ahead and follow through with, that ultimately things can happen and they'll interfere. Sometimes it happens, it's just a thing, it happens, it occurs. So therefore, if you do them already, then you're talking about facts in past and present, past, both for the most part, and therefore it's just something that you've done and it's over with. And it's just like a methodology for reflecting on future growth as well, past, present, and future, in essence, so that unless things are actually kind of like tied, and then, yeah, you get it, the nature of the energy. Moving down the path, it's worth acknowledging that business is a 24-hour and 7-day-a-week sport, and therefore the energy and the markets are always going on, and therefore it's worth noticing and acknowledging that this is something that can consume your attention and time at all given times of the day. It's just like acknowledging markets, acknowledging the energy is present to begin with, and it just really can also take away your time in life in a genuine sense, because there's so much data and energy and like spaces and places where things can be sold, and there's demand, and then the ability to sell, and then there's also changing demand focuses to be able to make new markets by changing the focus of existing products into new markets, for example, in the context for those markets. So it can really be an effect and influence on being able to impact and participate in different elements of time, and being able to change and form your mindset, like gel with the mindset of all this data and this energy. Again, makes it so you can enter new markets, and changing the form of your farm, the structure of your farm, of the seeds, the way that you grow them, and the current present day flow, the current present day meaning present, current meaning present day, and what is current, the present day current flow, energy flow, is also restructured, and it's also possible to farming seeds, sound seeds, farms, farming business energy. That is sort of the goal, is that ultimately it's kind of like AI, where we find opportunity, and it's kind of like it's a full string of like e-commerce products in essence, and we're able to take that mindset and be able to find new products, but also develop new products by putting out not not just actually finding weird sounds, but business sounds, business energy, business music is like a big part of the themes for Dinky Tech is business music. That means philanthropy is at the back end of the business, but also at the back end we're like propagating by developing a community for new products to be formed. In essence, that's the nature of the global games for good giving games, global giving games by Dinky Tech and Change for Game Studios is developing organic products, organic merch, because it all develops like around the interest and the nature and the focus for global games. Global giving games. The global giving games for the nature of the global giving games. It's the nature of love, the nature of global giving games. Yeah. The nature of the global giving games, it develops and spawns like a farm for different products to be able to farm themselves and develop and almost like AI invent themselves, because the nature of the market and the development of the audiences are all going in the same direction. And happy Easter. And what's he said? So in another instance, we want to talk about trying more items, just recklessly trying in essence, but not like, just to helter skelter, but like just in a linear fashion, try to have a linear fashion like similar to through e-commerce, for example, but it's just like a linear process, selling things in an instance where you're paying to get in front of audiences and customers necessarily, but you want to have it as a scaled process, so ideally you can have marketers on your side and helping you in an ideal sense so that they know what they're doing and are able to sell on the internet, because that's one of the fastest ways to be able to sell, and therefore you can be able to take certain budgets for certain items in a hopeful sense and be able to try to scale that process up so that hopefully the sales are equal more sales, so that they can equal scaling the process, so that the messaging can add and attach and connect to new audiences, and therefore the product and hopefully the cost of advertising is less than the sales equals, and therefore you can continue to span that whole process so it is continuously fruitful. Then as a result of that fruitful process, it's also a matter of growing and using and repurposing the energies to be able to repurpose and reinvest the energy, so that hopefully it's a continuously growing process, an ongoing. You can start with hopefully a certain low number and end up with a high number, and it's perpetually growing, so you can therefore continue to recycle it, and you don't spend the money on excessive or eccentric expenses, but therefore recycle the money so it has the ability to grow. And more circles with agencies trying to post ads and having that energy. Reckless positive action is what that's called. It's just like making trades, practicing reckless positive action in essence, trying to make gains, trying to continue to do things and in essence recklessly in a fast way, like making trades and practicing making trades through the stock market, through the internet, through making trades that are wrong, that are right. It doesn't matter. You start low and then you move up to higher, but you learn from every mistake, so therefore you just want to continue to make reckless trades, especially at low cost in the beginning, obviously, necessarily to be able to develop a foundation for understanding what's good and what's bad in terms of muscle memory. And basically the last thing, little thing to talk about, I guess, is just acknowledging that everybody's got a heart, and at the same time all plants make sounds, and some people will connect little items to the plants to be able to make the plants make sounds, and so at the same time all people have the same thing. All people have the ability to make sounds, all people have the ability to collaborate on music, because they all have their own energy, and you can decode that energy and take some samples from that energy and then make sounds from it, meaning make music in essence. But at the same time there's business music, which because everyone has a heart, everyone has interest, everyone has the good side in essence to be able to point their side in the nose of their in the direction and nose in the direction of a positive outcome in essence. So that positive heart element is like art, and it's the art that's within each human, and it's possible to withdraw that in terms of direction and how they would like to have philanthropic energy come from that heart in essence. So to be able to decode every human's energy is possible, and there's therefore philanthropic energy within every human and such things. Just like plants have music coming from all of them, it's a frequency. It's a frequency like all artists equal. I mean, like all people have art inside them, like in their heart. Like that's like almost part of the word heart. yeah, frequency is what it is what it stems from. That frequency of philanthropic energy, that's what we're trying to mine and get to in all people and pull it out into the world by everyone playing like kids into the global giving games. So let's all get together and play outside and have fun and hopefully make the world a better place at the same time by having fun as kids like we used to as kids. Alright, that's about all for now. Thanks again, DINKY Tech. Peace.